as you consider the people of Odaya with their coffee, or the people of Kiambu in Limuru with their tea, or indeed the people of Kikuyu with our potatoes and small-scale farming, Honorable Speaker, because we live on 50 by 100. And of course, the people who are producing livestock, we are key stakeholders because we are also butchers in Dagoretti. Honorable Speaker, I'm saying that so that all these cabinet secretaries come to serve us as Kenyans. And nobody should ever look at them on the basis of the regions where they come from. I know there are others who may have wanted and tempted even cabinet secretaries. And it is sad, Honorable Speaker, that today we even have cabinet secretaries who get tempted to play to the public gallery, excite emotions on the basis of ethnicity and regions they come from, inciting communities against communities. Honorable Speaker, it is sad. And I want to pray that these three gentlemen, because during the vetting process, they were able to show that they look at Kenya as one unitary state. They will serve the people of Kenya without regard to where anybody comes from or whatever language any Kenyan speaks, and serve them as Kenyans. I wish them all the best, Honorable Speaker, and I want to implore on all of us to approve these three cabinet secretaries so that cabinet may be not fully constituted, but at least those who are acting can now hand over, and hopefully the next cabinet meeting they will have been sworn in and take over the service of serving Kenyans. With those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move, and I want to request the Leader of Minority, the Honorable Junet Mohammed, who also sits in the Appointments Committee, to second the motion in agreement. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Junet. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to second this motion for the adoption of the fourth report of the Committee on Appointment on the approval hearings of nominees for appointment as Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as the Majority Leader has alluded to, I sit the committee that is chaired by yourself of appointment and approval, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, through that, I interacted with the nominees, Mr. Speaker, the three cabinet nominees, secretary nominees, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I came to realize that people who go through elective positions, Mr. Speaker, people who are elected by the people of Kenya as MCAs, as members of parliament, as governors, Mr. Speaker, those are people who are really tried and tested. And those are people who really can show leadership when it is required, Mr. Speaker, compared to people who have not held elective positions, Mr. Speaker. And I'm not trying to say that because I've been elected several times. Mr. Speaker, these three nominees have shown immense knowledge. They have shown immense knowledge and experience, Mr. Speaker, in terms of handling public affairs. And why that happened is because some of them ran or managed some of the largest counties in the country, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Kinyanjui was the governor of Nakuru. And Nakuru, Mr. Speaker, is one of the largest counties in the country, even in terms of population. That has given that man a lot of experience from what I saw when he appeared before the committee. Honorable Kabogo also, Mr. Speaker, has managed one of the largest counties. And as you can see, a member here, the Majority Leader, has testified that he has done a good job when he was the governor of that county. Mr. Speaker, that has given them a lot of experience. And the other nominee has been a cabinet secretary. He has been the senator of Nyeri. He has been a cabinet secretary at a very difficult time when this country had a pandemic, the coronavirus, Mr. Speaker, and he handled it very well. And the country saved, through that, a lot of lives were saved, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, that public service has impacted a lot of knowledge and experience on these three gentlemen, Mr. Speaker. I don't think they could have been better people to serve in these ministries than those people, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you see, public service, Mr. Speaker, is a calling, and I've said that many times. And you should be able to do it so long as you've been given an opportunity, Majority Leader. But when you feel a time has come, and you feel that the executive that you are part of, and you feel that the president that you are serving and the government that you are serving is not incompatible, the policies or your belief at the moment, at this point in time, is not compatible with the government you are serving, the best thing to do, Mr. Speaker, is to resign. Don't bring commotions. Don't bring unnecessary fights within the government. Be a man enough and say, this is enough now. I don't think, the way you've said, I don't think what is happening now is not what I came to do. For that reason, I want to leave. It's only in African societies or in African democracies where somebody disagrees with the policies, disagrees with what's happening in the government, and he still wants to stay there. To do what? Somebody told me, an African man, if you give him the keys to the washrooms and tell him, can you use it and bring it back to me, he will put it in his pocket and tell you, no, you tell me when you need it is when I'll give you back. Mr. Speaker, only in African societies. Wamumbi, can you give us time? I want the majority to listen to what I'm saying. So if you no longer believe in what the government is doing, and you're a cabinet secretary, just resign. You are not welded there like chuma, like an iron. You are not welded in government. Just leave. You know, the other time when we were impeaching the deputy president, somebody told me that he was asked, why can't you resign now that members of parliament have lost faith in you? A pastor in his home told him that you have been put there by God. You must remain there until you are removed by God. Now God spoke through angels to the members of parliament and they removed it. And God's work happened in this parliament, Mr. Speaker. Somebody told him that you are put there by God. Only God can remove you. Pana. God can remove you in many ways. Impeachment comes from God. Because by the time 300 members of parliament agree on something, it's the hand of God. It's the work of God. It's the voice of God. So, Mr. Speaker, if don't wait for God to come to your house to talk to you. If you think you cannot serve the government anymore, go do farming. Go do other things. Mr. Speaker. Or become something else. Become a professional. If you're a lawyer, go and open a law firm and serve the country that sphere, Mr. Speaker. Because you cannot be a cabinet secretary who is issuing contrary views to what your government is saying. It's immoral, actually. The other day I saw a good friend of mine, whom I learned a lot of things under him, who was sitting in the chair where Mr. Speaker is sitting. Mr. Speaker, and I learned everything I'm doing this house under his, Mr. Speaker, under his supervision. And that's not what he taught me when he was a speaker. He told me that if you are tired of something, leave. But now the same person is now teaching the same people is serving of many things, and he wants to remain there and stay there, Mr. Speaker. It only happens in Africa. And it cannot happen. And targeting communities, targeting people of certain, community, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, is very unfair. And I am a leader now in this country. Because I'm a minority leader. That's a constitutional office under Article 108. If my son is arrested by police, I should also tell the country why my son was arrested. I can't just say my son was arrested by so and so. Give the reasons why he was arrested. And then why do you wait for 7 months so that you tell Kenyans why your son was arrested? Why don't you tell them the day he was released that my son was arrested and then you drop names. You say I went to the president and the president told me that I called so and so. My friend, where is this secrecy of oath? It's called what? Oath of secrecy. Why can't you discuss things at that level with the people who are concerned? Now, if you have the opportunity to go and see the president, to go and see people in high offices, Kenyans who cannot access those places, how are they going to be served? What kind of, as a leader, what kind of trend are you setting? That anybody who wants to get help must go there. We cannot run a country cannot be run like that, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I hope these cabinet secretaries who are being approved in this house today will not behave in the same manner. Because when that becomes now the modus operandi, Mr. Speaker, We will not have a cabinet. We don't need to waste our time in this house approving people who are going to defy the same government they want to go and serve. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that kind of manners should not be allowed in any society. Because you must be somebody who stands for something. If you strongly feel that what's happening is wrong, leave. People in mature democracies, they live even over something smaller than this. So, Mr. Speaker, coming back to the point, is that I want to say these three gentlemen, Mr. Speaker, whom we are approving today, are not also going to represent certain regions. Cabinet secretaries are appointed to serve the Republic of Kenya. Every Kenyan, Mr. Speaker, deserve their service, Mr. Speaker. If you are going to behave like the way people who have impeached, and then start talking about, you come to my constituency and you bring me salamu from your home, I'll just chase you away. Mr. Speaker, dismissal of cabinet secretaries is not only the prerogative of the president. This House has constitutional mandate also to dismiss cabinet secretaries, the way we are approving them. So if you behave in a very tribalistic manner, you behave in an awkward manner, then nothing stops us from filing an impeachment motion and removing you from office, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you believed the people you are saying abducted your son, and the Kenyans, and you took 7 months, Mr. Speaker, to tell Kenyans what happened, who will believe you now? Because, 7 months is a long period of time. I'm sorry to say, I called a police officer, under the privilege of the House. I was told people are arrested over many things. You can be arrested because you are dealing in drugs, you are dealing in money laundering. You can be arrested in many things. Arresting is not abduction. We have to condemn abduction, but we cannot condemn arresting. Yeah, police officers are paid their own salaries so that they can arrest people. That's their work. If I break the law today, they will arrest me. But we must condemn abduction, but we cannot condemn arrest. Arrests are legal. They are legal in our laws for our policeman to arrest me and to arrest anybody else. Mr. Speaker, so I want to emphasize on the issue that cabinet secretaries must serve all Kenyans. If you want to serve your village, go and become an MCA. Don't become a minister or a chief. Like the way I see now, there's a senior chief now who is meeting people in Wamunyoro. Every day they're meeting there. You are now, there's local chief there. He's just meeting people there. You expect me to travel all the way from Nairobi to go and meet somebody in that village. What is the name of that village? Wamunyoro. I can't go, Mr. Speaker. So if you want to be like that, just go to your village. But if you want to serve Kenyans, if your desire is to serve Kenyans as a cabinet secretary, then serve all Kenyans, irrespective of their region, irrespective of their community, irrespective of their service of religion.
Yes, member for Madira. Junaid, do you want to be informed?
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Especially from somebody from Wamunyoro village, Mr.
Yes.
Speaker.
I want to inform Honorable Junet that Wamunyoro is a very good village in Madera constituency. And in that village there is a chief who is a very good man who serves people, all the people, in dignity. It is only one man, disgruntled, who is meeting people with long beards who don't know where they are going. So let's not discuss Wamunyoro. Wamunyoro is a good village. It's only one man who don't know where he is going or where he is coming from, who is disgruntled and he doesn't know where he is going or coming from. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Member of Parliament for Madeira for informing me that Wamunyoro is a very good place. I have not visited Wamunyoro yet. I need to pay a courtesy call to him so that I can see how good Wamunyoro is, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, why am I using Wamunyoro as an example? Mr. Speaker, I cannot travel from a place called Migori in Wothorumo or Wothogik all the way to Wamunyoro so that I can get government services.
I must get government services nationally. The minister must come to my place in Gorjope so that he can serve me in Gorjope, not me to go to Amunyoro, Mr. Speaker. That is why we retired someone to Amunyoro. And I'm sending a warning to the cabinet secretaries that if you take the behavior of Wamunyoro, if you want to serve only Wamunyoro people, we will sack you. We will impeach you. You must serve all Kenyans. And if you want to serve only your local people, become an MCA. That's where local people, the ward where people are served, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, there are people who think they have become cabinet secretary to serve their region, or to serve their community, or to serve their tribesmen. No. Cabinet secretary is a national position. If you want to remain as a CS, you must remain national, Mr. Speaker. And I know these three whom we are approving today, they are experienced. These are people, these are national leaders who have served all kinds of Kenyans, because you know Nakuru, almost every community of this country lives in Nakuru. Even in Kiambu nowadays, because it's becoming an extension of Nairobi, many communities stay in Kiambu, Mr. Speaker. These are the kind of leaders we want to have in cabinet. And let me congratulate the president, Mr. Speaker, because in terms of diversity, I don't think there is a president who has gotten it right more than President Ruto, Mr. Speaker. Very few communities now are not on the table of the cabinet, Mr. Speaker. All communities are almost there, Mr. Speaker. Anywhere, any county of almost has a representative now in the cabinet, or in the executive for that matter. That is the kind of country we want to build. That is why ODM has sent experts to the broad-based. And we have more experts to send, Mr. Speaker. That's why we want to send more experts to government, so that diversity can be felt, that diversity can be achieved. But the ones who want to retire to their village in Kanyambora, those ones should let Kenyans do other things, Mr. Speaker. If you want to become the chief of Kanyambora, just go and become the chief of Kanyambora. Don't bring issues here. Oh, so-and-so abducted my son, so-and-so did. No, no, no. Just go and... That will be another Munyoro Center. Just go to Kanyambora Center and stay there, Mr. Speaker. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I support.
Order, take your seat, Owen. Honourable members, I'll now propose the question at order number 12, which is that, taking into consideration the findings of the Committee on Appointments in its fourth report on the vetting of the nominees for appointment as cabinet secretaries, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 16th January 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 152(2) of the Constitution and Section 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, this House approves the appointment of the following persons as cabinet secretaries. 1. Honorable Mutahi Kagwe, AGH, Agriculture and Livestock Development. Honorable William Kabogo, Information, Communication and the Digital Economy. Honorable Kinyanjui, Investments, Trade and Industry. Yes, Wangwe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to first and foremost support this motion of consideration for the appointment of the cabinet secretaries. And Honorable Speaker, thank the President for taking his time and getting the right candidates for this position. Honorable Speaker, I have a view that the three candidates, and I will enumerate in particular the Honorable Mutahi Kagwe, whom I happen to have interacted with prior to this appointment. And Honorable Speaker, I find Honorable Mutahi Kagwe as a very strong candidate for this appointment, and feel the performance he displayed, Honorable Speaker, during his position as the Cabinet Secretary in charge of health shall follow suit. The only thing I would wish to comment and recommend to the Cabinet, to the Honorable Mutahi Kagwe, is, Honorable Speaker, to know that all of us are looking forward to him to put agriculture as a sector in order. We want to see, Honorable Speaker, a situation where the aspiration of the President to make sure that sugarcane farmers, Honorable Speaker, are able to earn bonus be fulfilled, Honorable Speaker. We want to see a situation, Honorable Speaker, that the brokers in between, the people who would want to affect the chain of distribution in terms of agriculture, Honorable Speaker, is dismantled. We want to see, Honorable Speaker, that Honorable Mutahi Kagwe puts his foot down to see that, Honorable Speaker, we don't get fertilizer that is in doubt. Let the government agenda, Honorable Speaker, to give us the fertilizer at 2,500 be implemented and even come more lower. But, Honorable Speaker, we get the right fertilizer for our input. Honorable Speaker, we want to see that the marketing of our product in terms of how to sell it and where to sell is opened more, wider and wider, so that, Honorable Speaker, we see as farmers all what is good to be implemented. And, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that we are now implementing the Sugar Bill, Sugar Act, and I would want to request the Honorable Mutahi Kagwe, should this House consider and approve his nomination, Honorable Speaker, let him make sure that he concludes what has been started, so that, Honorable Speaker, we get the sugar sector be very much independent and implemented. Honorable Speaker, speaking on Honorable Kinyanjui, I had a privilege of working with him, Honorable Speaker, especially during the previous campaigns, and I found, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Kinyanjui as a very astute member of any organization. And him, Honorable Speaker, having been a governor, it's important. I thank him and say, Honorable Speaker, the docket that he's being bestowed on investment, trade and industry is not a small docket, Honorable Speaker. It's a docket that balloons the economy of our country. All what we manufacture, Honorable Speaker, must get the destination, and all what is possible to invest, Honorable Speaker, any small-scale person relies on this docket, Honorable Speaker. We want to see him working hand in hand with the National Treasury to open up the sectors that we need to supply our products. Let us open up the industry the manufacturing sector, so that, Honorable Speaker, we don't just say we want our youth to get employment. Let our youth, Honorable Speaker, get very good employment, especially where foreigners and those people with money can invest in good industries to add value on our produce. As an agricultural economy, Honorable Speaker, we must have where to add value to our produce, and that is where Honorable Kinyanjui is going to come in. Honorable Speaker, on the front of ICT, under the Honorable William Kabogo, I don't have a benefit of having worked with him, but having felt him as a governor of Kiambu. He was a forthright, and as well as a member of this House, Honorable Speaker, you could see, I went to the Hansard, and you could see, Honorable Speaker, how astute Honorable Kabogo was on the floor, and how astute, Honorable Speaker, he could force and push issues. We want him, Honorable Speaker, to push that Kenya moves to the next level of ICT. Let us not just be manual, mechanical, rather, Honorable Speaker, move to the next global frontier. Honorable Speaker, we must look at the issue of the internet supply. We must look at the issue of communication. We must look at the issue, Honorable Speaker, that internet is not meant for disabuse. Honorable Speaker, internet is meant for communication. It's not meant for ridicule. Let Honorable Kabogo come in and know that he should be able, Honorable Speaker, to put the provisions as they are supposed to be, so that we have a fair play, so that let everyone who is using the internet use it within the law. It's not an issue of the youth. Many a times, Honorable Speaker, people have said the youth are abusing the internet. That is wrong. Even the elderly, Honorable Speaker, when they speak on the internet platform, they must inform each other rather than abusing each other. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, these nominees stand a good chance, and I will want to say, Honorable Speaker, we approve them so that we all move forward as a country and get our spaces replaced. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I support.
Bowen. Give Kangogo the...
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to support the three nominees, Mr. Speaker, for the Cabinet Secretary's position. And, Mr. Speaker, I want to say some few things. Starting with the Honorable Kagwe, Mr. Speaker, I want to support this nomination as a cabinet secretary. Mr. Speaker, when the Honorable Kagwe was the CS for Health, at a very difficult time, Mr. Speaker, when the country was fighting the COVID-19, he proved himself, Mr. Speaker, that as a capable cabinet secretary in the Ministry of Health then. And Mr. Speaker, I want to ask the Honorable Kagwe as he moves to the Ministry of Agriculture. The agriculture is the backbone of our economy as a country. And Mr. Speaker, in the last few months, the Ministry of Agriculture has been on the wrong for many things, especially the fertilizer. Mr. Speaker, the harvest which we currently many farmers harvested some few months ago, some of them were affected because of the fake fertilizers which was there last year. Mr. Speaker, we want to ask the CS nominee that as he takes over the ministry, once he is approved by this House, to make sure that the Ministry of Agriculture becomes the backbone, Mr. Speaker, and supports the farmers of this country to produce enough for this country. There is no need, Mr. Speaker, when we have almost majority of Kenyans, 90% of our people, they are farmers, and they are getting a little support from the government. Mr. Speaker, the issue number 2, the cartels we have in Ministry of Agriculture, they are quite a number. You will find that farmers, there are so many middlemen. In coffee, in tea, they are not benefiting from their produce. So we want to seek that the cabinet secretary, once he's in that office, is able to help the Kenyan farmers. Mr. Speaker, the issue of ICT and the Honorable Kabogo, if he's approved by this House. I think ICT is an emerging technology, Mr. Speaker, and there are so many challenges, from fraud to hacking to so many things. And there is need to regulate actually the industry. There is a lot to be done in the industry to make sure that the new ICT, the digitization in the country, they are used for the benefit of the people and the young people, and it is not a platform for abuses. It's not a platform for people to make illegal activities. And Mr. Speaker, finally, the Honorable Kinyanjui, we want also to support him in the Ministry of Trade. The trade, Mr. Speaker, our import and export, Mr. Speaker, determines also our balance between a shilling and the dollar. So when we have a lot of export, Mr. Speaker, as a country, you will see that we will benefit from the business of foreign exchange. And currently, I think as a country, we are importing more than what we are exporting. So we expect that the Kinyanjui, when he comes in, he will take up the ministry to the next level to benefit Kenyan traders. Mr. Speaker, I support the 3 nominees.
Yes. Irene Mayaka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also take this opportunity to support the nominations of the 3 appointees, being the Honorable Mutahi Kagwe, the Honorable Kinyanjui, and the Honorable William Kabogo. Honorable Speaker, these 3 all have one thing in common. They have a wealth of experience. They each have done unique things within the sphere of their previous appointments that make them exceptional. And Honorable Speaker, just as it has been said by our previous members, is that we really want to encourage that these cabinet secretaries focus their work nationally and not just within the country. Honorable Speaker, we all remember very well how the Honorable Mutahi Kagwe was very instrumental during the COVID-19 period. And Honorable Speaker, some of the things that really impressed me when I watched the interview was when he spoke about engaging the youth in the agricultural sector. Because, Honorable Speaker, we are a country that is largely agricultural, but our young people are not interested in that space. And some of the ideas that he did share in terms of how he would engage the youth in this space was very impressive. Honorable Speaker, the other thing that the Honorable Mutahi Kagwe spoke about was the use of AI technology within our weather and agricultural space, which is something that is very progressive. It is being used in other countries, and it's very enlightening and very exciting to hear that a cabinet nominee for agriculture is actually talking about engaging AI in terms of the weather checks and also the increasing our agricultural produce. Honorable Speaker, in terms of the Honorable Lee Kinyanjui, I support his nomination. Honorable Lee Kinyanjui was fantastic as a governor. And not only that, those of us who worked within the Azimio Secretariat will remember how Honorable Lee Kinyanjui really assisted us in having a youth volunteer movement across the whole country, and he was very magnanimous in terms of how he shared his wealth of experience with us. Honorable Speaker, and finally the Honorable William Kabogo, when his nomination was announced, someone asked me why they would take someone like William Kabogo in the ICT space. But those of us who are really, really interested in that space know that the Honorable William Kabogo did a lot of digital transformation in Kiambu County. While he was there, he ensured that there was free Wi-Fi in the urban centers in Kiambu County. He ensured there was a digital county transformation service, including educating the people of Kiambu County to be able to engage in financial systems within the county. Honorable Speaker, even the system of digital revenue collection, while I was a member of County Assembly, I remember that one of the counties that we did visit as a place as a learning experience was Kiambu County, because they were able to strengthen and have a cashless system within their digital system. And so, Honorable Speaker, this for sure is a nominee who really understands that particular environment. And Honorable Speaker, without gainstating what has already been done within the ICT sector, we do want to ensure that the entire country of Kenya has fiber optic. And I really like the fact that he already has knowledge in this space. Honorable Speaker, the nominee, William Kabogo, also spoke about the unethical use of social media, protecting the youth from harmful use of social media. And I did hear him also suggesting that we should get into a place where we regulate the social media space. We do not necessarily need to gag people from social media like TikTok, X, and Facebook, but we can introduce regulations within this space. The other thing that he spoke about that was very interesting, Honorable Speaker, is that he talked about the Konza Technopolis and having investors come on board in that particular space so that we can grow our Technopolis space. Honorable Speaker, the only thing I just want to say and encourage, and this is also because we are saying now that we want our cabinet secretaries to work for the whole of Kenya. It is my wish that the executive would actually have a rotational basis where 2 weeks in every month, the cabinet secretaries can actually go to different parts of this country and work from there, so that they can understand what Kenyans are going through. They can understand the different spaces that their ministries and dockets are engaging on, and then that way they'll be able to serve all Kenyans very well. We don't have to have cabinet secretaries being confined in Nairobi in the headquarters. I wish they would actually rotate and go everywhere. With those very few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I wish to support the nominations. I thank you.
Wamumbi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also rise to offer support to this motion that seeks...
Members, I will be calling the mover to reply at 12:30. So those I'm giving an opportunity, take as little time as you possibly can. I would recommend 2-3 minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Obliged. I also rise to support this motion that seeks to approve the appointment of Honorable Mutahi Kagwe, Honorable Lee Kinyanjui, and Honorable William Kabogo as Cabinet Secretaries, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I specifically ask Honorable Mutahi Kagwe to take the issue of vaccination very seriously, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the President has just come back from UAE in search of markets for our beef. And Mr. Speaker, it is only the well-vaccinated livestock that will compete for the markets out there. And we saw him during the interview. He said it is not a forced exercise. It is those who are willing, but we continue to urge our farmers to welcome this vaccination issue because it's of advantage to their beef, so that their beef can fetch good markets out there, Mr. Speaker. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to assure the people of Mukoroini, where Honorable Mutahi Kagwe was born and where he comes from. It is very bad, and I want to sympathize with them, that as we approve the Yasan, the MP, Mr. Speaker, is not in this house to stand with the people of Mukoroini. I have seen him in a barrio somewhere propagating the Itungati fake narrative. He was supposed to be in this house to approve a son of Mukoroini, but instead of coming to this house to approve the son of Mukoroini, he is in a funeral somewhere propagating an Itungati fake narrative. I assure the people of Mukoroini that we are going to make sure the son is approved so that he can serve Kenyans and all Kenyans. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank you.
Women Rep Kwale. Women Rep Kwale.
Basi asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipatia nafasi hii. Mimi pia niunge mkono uteuzi wa mawaziri hawa watatu ambao wamelipitishwa na kamati ya uteuzi hivi majuzi na leo hii wameletwa katika bunge hili. Mimi naunga mkono Mheshimiwa Spika, na pia niwapatie tu nasaha yangu kidogo mawaziri hawa. Ndugu zangu, mmechaguliwa na tunawachagua sisi kama wabunge wa bunge hili la kitaifa kwa roho moja. Mimi natoka Kwale na ningependa na naomba wakati mkifanya kazi mawaziri wetu mjue Kwale pia ni county katika zile county 47, muweze pia sisi kunyorosha mkono kwetu. Mheshimiwa Spika, Kwale ni county ambayo ina ukulima na ina mashamba ambayo yana rutuba kubwa sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Na sisi pia wa Kwale ni wafugaji wazuri sana Mheshimiwa Spika, lakini utapata katika ukulima wetu na ufugaji wetu katika county yetu hatuwezeshwi mara nyingi, hatuwezeshwi kisheria na hatuwezeshwi pia kipesa. Bado tunafanya ukulima ule wa zamani ambao hauwezi kwa sasa hivi. Ulimwengu mahali umefika, tunahitaji ukulima wa kisasa. Mheshimiwa Spika, Kwale bado sisi tuko nyuma sana kwa mambo ya ukulima na ufugaji. Tunafuga kama nilivyoelezea. Mheshimiwa Spika, nilikuwa na matumaini makubwa sana wakati Mheshimiwa Salim Mburia waziri alipokuwa amechaguliwa katika wizara hii ya investments and trade. Nilikuwa na matumaini, nikajua kwa sababu kila mtu anajua mahali kiatu kinapomchoma, basi Mheshimiwa Mburia angekuwa mzuri sana kwa kuweza kurekebisha Kwale. Lakini kwa sababu hawa pia ni wa Kwale, ni wa Kenya wenzetu, nasema nawapatia kongole, lakini waangalie sana Kwale. Sisi hatuna viwanda. Best titanium imeenda inakufa, hiyo imekwisha mambo yake. Tuna Ramisi Sugar ile Kwale Sugar Factory. Hatuwezi kusema tuna kampuni ya sukari Kwale. Hatuna viwanda kabisa ndani ya Kwale. Kwa hivyo mimi naomba nasaha yangu mawaziri, mnapoingia mjue Kwale pia ni katika zile county 47 na muweze kutunyoroshea mkono. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika, sitaki niwe mrefu sana. Naunga mkono uteuzi wa mawaziri hawa Mheshimiwa Spika.
Martin Owino.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I rise to support this special motion, I want to congratulate you and your team, for you sat through it all. And we watched it and we took notes. The Speaker, there's only one item which I would like to be introduced into our vetting exercise. In this House, we did pass that we have quarterly reports from our ministries. How I hope that those reports, if it's somebody from a ministry like a cabinet Kagwe, we would have that report from the department to tell us how he performed in that section. And also that report will help the majority leader in his report so that he can reference it. The same with others from the two gentlemen from the Senate. So if we can be citing reports from these sectors, it is going to make it more better than individual verbal appreciations. Other than say that the three nominees impressed me much. As a member of the Departmental Committee on Health, I want to say Honorable Kagwe has a competency, and I know he will do a good job. I just want him, when he gets there, if approved, so that he can start with some things which are really bothering Kenyans. Having come from the Ministry of Health, he values health. The issue of pesticides, Mr. Speaker, is causing a lot of harm to our people. As we speak, over 310 products of pesticides are used in this country. And pesticides have been connected to 6 cancers. And if not checked, we can harm us more. As for Kabogo, we have built, according to the presidential initiative, every ward. Like in my constituency, I have 3 wards with ICT hub. But I've written so many letters to have them equipped, have not been done. As for Kinyanjui, how I wish you also put as a priority, in a priority list, building industries in our rural settings so that our kids do not migrate to urban areas to be slum dwellers, and also to make value addition to our natural products. With those, Mr. Speaker, I support the 3 nominees.
Wamurata. Give her the mic.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also stand to support the approval of the 3 honorable members of this country that bring in a wealth of experience from the past times that they have worked in for this nation. I personally want to first congratulate the 3 of them for getting this opportunity and being approved to serve this country. And I also want to echo the words that were said by our ML over the Minister Kagwe, who was at during the COVID time, the Minister for Health, and he brought in a whole wealth of experience to a point that he was able to identify with even all the children in the country, that even the young children had a name for him. And I remember one child who used to call him Mutuenu wa Corona, because he had spoken about COVID until even the children had come to understand. The other thing is that he very well coordinated with the young people, and especially in his quotes, not forgetting the quote that he had, that if we continue treating this disease normally, it is going to treat us abnormally. And I want to request Honorable Kagwe to come with the same great slogans to the young people, so that he may be able to teach them agriculture and enable them to understand that agriculture is also a way of earning a living, whereby we have our young people who still don't believe that agriculture is a way of earning a living. And if he comes with the wealth of experience that he has, I want to believe that our children are going to identify with him. I also want to congratulate the Honorable William Kabogo, who comes from the county that I represent, the county of Kiambu, and Kinyanjui, who too also come with the wealth of experiences, considering that both of them have served as governors in very densely populated counties that are cosmopolitan. And I really want to thank the President for considering these 2 people who have served with Kenyans and served in counties that have a population of all the communities in this country. And so we want to believe that as they come in, they will come to serve Kenyans and not their region. I also want to believe that Honorable Kabogo will be able to handle the issue of ICT. And I remember when he was a governor, there used to be free Wi-Fi in hospitals, and especially one time I visited a maternity hospital in Kiambu Level 5, and there was free Wi-Fi, which I don't think is there today. And I want to believe that when he brings all this kind of information that he had and the wealth of information, that we are going to go to the next height. I also want, on my last point, to tell these people that they are coming in to the country when there is a lot of heat, of political noise in the country. And I want to pray and request them that they come in.
Dr. Nyikal, your time is up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, as I support the nomination of this gentleman, I have two observations that I want to bring out that are important and 2 points. Mr. Speaker, the issue of regional and ethnic equity, although we have played it down and we said is something we should look at, but I can't blame them for that because they did not appoint themselves in this position. But it's something we should look at in the future. The second thing, Mr. Speaker, is these are gentlemen who have worked well. But again, there are 2 points, particularly for Honorable Kagwe and Honorable Kabogo, that actually did besmirch them. The issue during the corona where Mutahi worked very well, but the COVID billions, actually it did raise issues. I saw them respond to this. And also, Honorable Kabogo, again there was issue of the lady that died. I saw him respond to this. But the biggest problem we have in this country is integrity. So we may start to look at the principle of being as spotless as a bishop's wife. But I know because of what they have done, they'll actually prove themselves beyond those issues. The other one, Mr. Speaker, that is a point that I think they can. The three of them, if they work together, Mr. Speaker, they can solve the problem of employment amongst our youth. I believe that it is actually agro-industry that will be our industrialization that can employ our people, and that will include actually the Honorable Kagwe and Honorable Kabogo and Honorable Kinyanjui. Kinyanjui in industry, Mutagwe in agriculture, and IT and communication. And all of them have done that. If they actually work in these three areas, and they can actually create massive employment for our youth. With that, Mr. Speaker, I support.
Bishop Kosgei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also, from the onset, wish to support the motion about the nominees into various ministries as outlined by the committees. And I wish to congratulate the committee for having had a thorough conversation between and amongst the three, and we were able to watch, Mr. Speaker, from the comfort of our homes. And I wish to congratulate them for their performance. They indicated, number one, the maturity in the ministries that they are going to serve, and also experience that they are bringing to the government. I wish to appeal to them, as this House would approve, because I'm appealing that we do so, that one, we have witnessed a trend of members of executive violating the oath of secrecy in government. This is not a good tradition and not a good trend. And we are appealing, and I listened to them when questions were placed before them that was really tempting them to reveal what they knew and what they did, and I was so impressed that they were bound by the oath of secrecy. I think the rest of us in government should be able to learn. Number two, Mr. Speaker, is that we are appealing as they come. There has been a missing link in terms of communication of what the government is doing. And that people who are thriving with propaganda in social media have taken a field day. We are not hearing anyone from the side of government. Finally, Mr. Speaker, is that the issue of technology, that which has been abused, and it has, some others have been using our young people to do things that are unethical. with the coming of Kabogo and the experiences he has, we hope this will be sanitized. With that, Mr. Speaker, I support this, the approval of these nominees.
Rueda.
Asante Bwana Spika, kunipatia nami nafasi nipate kuchangia. Mimi moja kwa moja naunga mkono, na nataka tu niwaambie vile wamesema pale kwa kamati iwe ni hivyo. Sio kusema tu kwa mdomo, bali waseme kwa vitendo. Maana mara nyingi tumeona kama hii ministry ya ICT, kuna wakati ilitoa nafasi za vijana kila county wawili, lakini county zingine hazipewi hizo nafasi. Utaona hata zile zetu 2 zinapewa wengine. Kwa hivyo waziri akifika hapo, aangalie kama Wakenya, aangalie Kenya yote, asiache Mkenya mwingine nje. Sisi ni Wakenya pia, kule kwetu ni Lamu mbali kidogo tutasaulika. Kwa hivyo atuzingatie na atumie ile affirmative kufikiria na kusaidia watu walioko mbali. Si lazima Lamu peke yake, lakini Wakenya wote kwa jumla. Niambie pia waziri wa ukulima ajue sisi samaki iko katika ukulima. So asiangalie tu upande wa ukulima peke yake, angalie mifugo na angalie pia samaki. Samaki iko kwa ukulima, aje na mbinu za kisasa zile ambazo zitatusaidia. Sio zile za kwamba babu yetu alikwenda akivua samaki akipata pengine kilo 20 kwa mara moja, sasa watu wakienda wanapata kilo 1. So atafute mbinu mbadala, mbinu za kisasa, pia wasaidie wavuvi wetu kule wapate kufaidika. Mbali na hivyo, eneo ninaloliwakilisha mimi Lamu Mashariki lina upande mwingi wa manufaa. Kuna upande wa kuseme samaki, pia sisi ni wakulima wa simsim, ni wakulima wa watermelon. Kuna mfadhili mmoja alisaidia tu hivi karibuni akapeana 500,000 kwa kikundi cha youth. 500,000 hiyo ilitoa watermelon mpaka tukashindwa kuuza. Watermelon ni nyingi sana. So kunao haja ya waziri kuingia pia kule kuangalia area zile gani zitatoa mazao gani tuweze kusaidia watu wetu, na pia itakuwa ni kuinua uchumi wa Kenya. Pia upande huo kuna ukulima mfano kama wa ndimu, ukulima wa muhogo, lakini bado ni ile ya zamani. Hawatusaidii ukulima wa simsim. Mimi namuomba waziri mwanzo ukulima wa simsim, si ndio tunatoa simsim nzuri. Ajue akiingia kuna kazi inamngojea pale mezani. Ajue kule Lamu Mashariki simsim ziko nyingi haziuziki kwa sababu ya makosa ya watu wengine. Wao walitumia ile dawa inaita kausha, wakausha mimea. Sasa ile simsim yetu haiwezi kuuzika kule uzunguni, haiwezi kwenda. Kwa hivyo aje atafautishe, wale wanatumia madawa wasipeleke hizo bidhaa zao, lakini wale ambao hawatumii madawa zile bidhaa zao ziweze kupelekwa. Na asiseme, sinitarajia aseme kwamba ati zungumza na county. Mimi
Time up. Cherorot, then mover, be ready to reply.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
1 hour and you all agreed.
Mr. Speaker, I stand to support the appointment of the 3 nominees, Mutahi Kagwe, Kinyanjui, and William Kabogo. Mr. Speaker, the 3 gentlemen, from their own experience and the way they have served in this country, I can say that they qualify and they have the capacity to serve in those ministries which they have been assigned. Mr. Speaker, the President himself, I think through his own wisdom, he has appointed the 3. And you remember, Mr. Speaker, the President, during the campaign, he had his own the plan, which is the agenda and the manifesto, which he is running with. And I want to say that the coming in of the 3, they have to make sure that they have to hit the ground running so that they can be able to deliver. Because, Mr. Speaker, as we are aware in our country, we have lagged behind due to some challenges we've been having. And I want also to encourage that even the rest of the CSS that we have, Mr. Speaker, they have to make sure that they deliver service. They should not sit and watch things happening in this country. And I want to challenge also the 3, Mr. Speaker, that the government they are going to serve, they should be careful not to fight the government from within. They have to support the government and to make sure that they deliver services to Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that in our country, these ministries that have been created, they were created with their purpose so that they can be able to serve the common people, Mr. Speaker. And the three also should mark the territorial boundaries in this country to make sure that they serve from north to south and even from east to west, because they are serving Kenyans and they have to be faithful in actually serving His Excellency and Kenyans at large. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
I'll give the following 2 minutes each. Mudhoni, member for Kieni, Women Rep Nakuru, Masito, not Masito, Mbeyu. Yes, let me see how you do. 2 minutes each. Start with Dorothy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I first want to really thank the vetting committee and you as the chair for the excellent job undertaken. And I want to thank His Excellency for picking on competent, expert and experienced individuals to be cabinet secretaries in his government. Honorable Speaker, I straight away want to go to Honorable Mutahi Kagwe. Agriculture is the backbone of this country, and it can leverage on new technology, especially, Honorable Speaker, to invest in dry land to supplement crop production in the wetlands. As I say that, Honorable Speaker, I also wish to say all other crops which have been gazetted. The government has been very keen in opening new markets for these crops. And I want to say one crop that looks like it has been forgotten as much as it's cash crop gazetted in this country is the Mira crop. And I wish that the CS Agriculture will fast track this crop and look for markets for the Mira crop, so that the farmers in that area of the country can also benefit and reap big from this country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Kieni. Was it Lisa first or Kieni first? Lisa first. Kieni, take your seat. Give to Lisa Chelule. Iko moja pale. My clerks, why are you misfiring today?
Asante sana Bwana Spika kunipatia nafasi pia nichangie kwa mjadala ambaye imeletwa katika National Assembly na Majority Leader wetu. Na nataka kuchukua hii nafasi kupongeza rais kwa kuteua hawa watendakazi watatu na wengi ambayo tuliwapitisha asubuhi. Napongeza rais kwa niaba ya watu ya Nakuru. Bwana Spika, nataka kuongea juu ya waziri Mutahi Kagwe ambaye tulifanya kazi naye katika Senate na namjua kwa utekelezi yake ya kazi. Ningependa tu kuchukua hii nafasi nimweleze Mheshimiwa Mutahi Kagwe kwamba kuna mimea ambaye ni kama imesaulika, na mimea huu ni pyrethrum. Nakuru County ni moja ya counties ambaye wanapanda pyrethrum kwa wingi. Pyrethrum ni mmea ambaye tulitumia sana wakati yake kusomesha watoto wetu kule Nakuru. Kwa hivyo ninaomba Mutahi Kagwe akikuja kuanza kazi washikane pamoja na Lee ambaye tunajua pia kazi yake. Kwa niaba ya watu ya Nakuru ninajua tutafaidika na vijana watapata kazi. Kina mama pia wamejitokesha kuwa wakulima wa maziwa, kwa ng'ombe ya maziwa. Kwa hivyo nina hakika kwamba Mutahi Kagwe atatekeleza kazi. Otherwise nawatakia mema na I wish all of you colleagues a happy 2025. Thank you.
Kieni.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for the opportunity. I really want to offer my voice in supporting the three wise men who have been appointed to our cabinet. Indeed, they bring with them a lot of competences, various competences, experiences, and their braveness and commitment to work. Mr. Speaker, I really want to say that to Mr. Mutahi Kagwe, this is one man who has been purified and demonized in our county of Nyeri, suggested that it doesn't matter, but to him I tell him, it matters to Kenya that there will be food on the table, enough for all Kenyans. He is not appointed particularly for the people of Nyeri. So he should take heart, take courage, that Kenyans are looking upon him to make sure that there is enough for everybody and all the times. Not saying that, not also failing to note that also Mr. Honorable Kabogo, when he was the Governor Emeritus for Kiambu, he gave his best, and particularly he showed commitment to healthy delivery services in Kiambu. Also Kinyanjui, having delivered Nakuru as a city, it took him a lot of time, a lot of courage, and a lot of knowledge. Mr. Speaker, sir, having said that, I didn't want to encourage all of them to give their best. Thank you. I wish them well in their service. Let them bring their wisdom, and we all work towards doing something for this country. Mr. Speaker, I don't follow simple people. I follow great minds. And that is why in 2017, I offered myself to deputize Mutahi.
Very good. Women Rep Kilifi.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika, wacha nichukue fursa hii kukupongeza, kuombea kila mtu mwaka mpya mwema 2025. Tuombe ushirikiano, kufanya kazi pamoja. Muhimu Mheshimiwa Spika, nipongeze wateule wa waziri hawa watatu. Nazungumze kuhusu Mheshimiwa Kabogo. Sijafanya kazi vizuri karibu naye, lakini kwa sababu ameletwa katika wizara ya mambo na dijitali, ni ombi langu kwake kuwa ataweza kushirikiana na Wakenya wote na hasa vijana, ambapo anaingia wakati vijana wako vizuri kidijitali, na hatutataka wawe wataendelea kutumia mitandao vibaya. Aone vipi atatafutia kazi za kidijitali vijana wote ambao wanahangaika, wanasumbuka na wanatoa maneno wanaotoa kwa sababu wako tu bure, hawana kazi. Kuna kazi nyingi sana za kidijitali anaweza kuwatafutia na waweze kujikimu. Langu kwa Mheshimiwa Mutahi Kagwe, nilimjua akiwa waziri wa afya. Sasa amepelekwa wizara ya kilimo, pale alipo anisikie naitwa Mheshimiwa Mbeyu wa Kilifi. Tunataka ile mimea ya kule pwani, mkorosho, nazi, tuweze kuregeshewa, japo kilimo kimegatuliwa, aweze kushirikiana na county government ya Kilifi, tuone vipi mimea yetu biashara, mkorosho, maembe na nazi zimeweza kupata faida.
Majority Leader, reply now. You all agree that we assign 1 hour to each of these motions.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to take this opportunity first to thank all the members for the contributions and for their support to these nominees who are vetted under your chairmanship, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in reply, let me just say I've listened to many of the contributors and their sentiments, and it's important, Honorable Speaker, to re-emphasize that as many of the contributors to this motion have said, cabinet secretaries come into office to serve all the people of Kenya and the government of the day, and they serve not just the regions they come from, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it's also important that, as has been said by many people, that even these nominees and even those others who are serving in cabinet today, to recognize that they not only have a collective responsibility in their service to the people of Kenya, but also to carry themselves with the decorum and integrity that behoves of their offices, Honorable Speaker. If any of our cabinet secretaries feels that the President has reassigned them to a ministry that they think is lower than what whichever other ministry that they were in, Honorable Speaker, the honorable thing to do is, if you feel the ministry you are serving in is too small for you and you are too big for that ministry, simply resign. If you think, Honorable Speaker, that you are reassigned to a ministry where you are not able to extort money from people as you used to extort in any other, Honorable Speaker, and you can't say to the public, and you now want to pretend that you are holier than thou, and we know you, and you know if you are about to be fired, don't pretend that you are either resigning or asking to be fired. Honorable Speaker, just go. And it is not just those who are serving, even these ones that we are approving today. This House will oversight all these cabinet secretaries without regard as to where they came from, what political affiliation they are coming from, because, Honorable Speaker, in the spirit of the broad-based government, we have cabinet secretaries who are serving this country who were not part and parcel of the Kenya Kwanza campaign trail. But the country is bigger than Kenya Kwanza, Honorable Speaker. The country or the government of the day serves all Kenyans, Honorable Speaker. And I must commend the President for seeing beyond his political party, for seeing beyond the coalition that he campaigned under, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I must commend the cabinet secretaries who came from ODM. The Honorable John Buddy, the Honorable Pio Andai, the Honorable Joho, the Honorable Oparanya, even the Honorable Askul. These are cabinet secretaries who are serving this country with diligence, with integrity, and with commitment to the people of Kenya. You do not serve as a cabinet secretary to serve the president of the day. You serve the people of Kenya. It is Kenyan taxpayers who pay your salary. Serve with honor, serve with diligence, serve with the commitment that you have served in for these three nominees, Honorable Speaker. And even those cabinet secretaries who are in office today, Honorable Speaker, as we continue to oversight them, let me say we will oversight them. But let me also say we will not waste any more of our parliamentary time to impeach a cabinet secretary. Honorable Speaker, cabinet secretaries are not people to waste our time with. The honorable thing for a cabinet secretary who feels they have failed on their job, or they are too big for the current job that they are holding, is to resign. They should not waste our time, or even waste the president's time. But the president has a prerogative to hire, fire, and also reassign. And therefore, when you serve in a ministry, there is no ministry that is more important than the other, or any state department that is more important than the other, if your motivation is service to the people of Kenya. But if your motivation is extortion, if your motivation is deals in government, then you will find that maybe this particular department of state is better than the ministry I'm currently serving in, because probably you are not able to get the kind of deals you are getting in another office, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, with those many remarks, because I can see we have good numbers, I beg to reply, Honorable Speaker, and ask this House to approve these cabinet secretaries to go forth and serve the people of Kenya. And I want to believe, as they committed to the people of Kenya during their vetting process, they will serve with diligence, they will serve with integrity, they will serve all Kenyans to improve the lot of all Kenyans, improve our economy through the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I support and I beg to reply. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Sorry to the members who wanted to speak, but because of time, you didn't get space. But listening to all of you, I think the chorus was one. You are all supporting. There was no dissent. So those who spoke for all of us. I'll now put the question at order number 12, which is that, taking into consideration the findings of the Committee on Appointments in its fourth report on the vetting of the nominees for appointment as cabinet secretaries laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 16th January 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 152(2) of the Constitution and Section 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, this House approves the appointment of the following persons as Cabinet Secretaries. Honorable Mutahi Kagwe, EGH, Agriculture and Livestock Development. Honorable William Kabogo, Information, Communication and the Digital Economy. Honorable Kinyanjui, Investments, Trade and Industry. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 13, motion, consideration of Senate amendments to the Gambling Control Bill, National Assembly Bill number 70 of 2023.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this is a very short motion, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that, I'm looking for the supplementary order paper. That the House considers that the Senate amendments to the Gambling Control Bill, National Assembly Bill number 70 of 2023 be now considered. Honorable Speaker, this Gambling Control Bill is a bill that this House passed early last year, you remember, together with the Betting Control Bill, and because it had provisions that touched on county governments, it was conveyed to the Senate for consideration, and the Senate did move a number of amendments which have since been considered by the Committee for Sports under the chairmanship of Honorable Wanyama. And Honorable Speaker, the committee in its report which they tabled towards the tail end of the last session recommended that we object or we reject all the Senate amendments, Honorable Speaker. And many of the amendments, Honorable Speaker, that are being amended, that were amended by the Senate and which the committee has proposed that we reject, counter to the provisions of articles of the Constitution touching on the different functions of the two levels of government between the national government and the county functions. They are also contrary to the provisions of Article 109 of the Constitution on the exercise of legislative powers. Honorable Speaker, maybe for clarity, Article 109, Honorable Speaker, says that Parliament shall exercise its legislative power through bills passed by Parliament and assigned to the President. And Parliament in this instance means both chambers of Parliament. But any bill may originate from the National Assembly. 3 says that a bill not concerning county government is considered only in the National Assembly and passed in accordance with Article 122. And because this bill did concern counties, that is why it was not only considered by the National Assembly alone, and we took it to the Senate. 4 is that a bill concerning county governments may originate in the National Assembly, like this bill, or the Senate, and is passed in accordance with Articles 110 and 113, 122 and 123 of the Standing Orders. And 5, a bill may be introduced by any member or committee of the relevant House of Parliament, but a money bill may be introduced only in the National Assembly in accordance with Article 114. Honorable Speaker, many of the amendments that were inserted into this bill from the Senate are amendments that touch on or that had a money bill effect, and therefore making this bill, which originally was not a money bill, a money bill. And therefore there is no way that this House, under Article 109 of the Constitution, would allow the Senate to usurp the powers of the National Assembly in terms of introducing bills that have a money bill effect. Because, Honorable Speaker, it is the Constitution that says that only the National Assembly may consider bills that have a money bill effect. Whether it is the imposition of taxes, levies, or charges to Kenyans or from the Exchequer, Honorable Speaker, that can only be done by the National Assembly. And therefore, many of the amendments, Honorable Speaker, that you will see that were done by the Senate touched on imposition of taxation, imposition of levies, imposition of penalties and charges, things that can only be done by this House, Honorable Speaker. And I know, Honorable Speaker, there are people in the Senate who thought that it's an ingenious way of introducing such provisions, then take this bill to mediation to consider these bills. And Honorable Speaker, I want to implore on you, when and if we reject these amendments and we go into mediation, all the clauses that touch or have a money bill effect, Honorable Speaker, I would beg that you do ask the House or the mediation committee not to consider those clauses, because it will be unconstitutional. Completely unconstitutional, Honorable Speaker. Two, Honorable Speaker, besides those provisions being unconstitutional having been introduced in the Senate, it is also not possible to re-legislate on certain things that we have already legislated on. Towards the tail end of the last session, Honorable Speaker,